So Modern Warfare 2 actually has an in-game benchmark test that you can run. Among the selectable modes, you can find a benchmark setting here, a benchmark tile. So we're going to go ahead and run that benchmark test and see what this system is doing, how it's performing. It's going to give us a results screen. I've done it on my actual PC and viewed the results there. I've never actually ran it on the Steam Deck, so we're going to see what that's like. This is going to pretty much show us what the average performance is, the frames, and the CPU and GPU that is being used. That way I can shut some people up that are thinking that I'm streaming the game from my PC to the Steam Deck. I have streamed from the PlayStation to the Steam Deck during the beta, but whenever I'm showing gameplay on the Steam Deck for this game specifically, I've only been playing off of the Steam Deck itself. I'm not streaming the game, and this is just going to be further proof that I'm not doing that. And it's not that many people that really think that, but that just goes to show how good this thing performs, that it's fooling people and making them think I'm using my PC to stream to the Steam Deck, and that's how I'm playing so good and things like that. It's just, honestly, it's flattering at this point. Like, I'll take it. It just shows how good of a system this is, and for everyone crying that they can't play the game because they're on SteamOS, everyone has the option to download Windows 11, dual boot Windows 11 or 10, and play the game. So just play the game wherever it's allowing you to play it, and stop crying about it. Alright, let's get into the benchmark. If you were wondering where you can run this benchmark, basically you're going to enter the game, and underneath the initial featured game modes, you're going to go down here and all the way to the right. I have some details about the previous test I did, but we're going to go ahead and start this. I'll post the screenshot or screen capture of the result screen, that way it's easier to read, because right now it's going to run this test and jump around frames a little bit, and at the end it'll tell us the average of what everything is. And they're going to go ahead and drop a nuke on us so that the frames go all crazy and really show us how much this thing can handle. Here's pretty much the summary of the test that was just ran. We got an average of 59 FPS, which is the biggest thing here. The Steam Deck screen only goes to 60 Hz. If you're playing on a monitor, don't expect your refresh rate to be a lot higher than 60. I mean, it's going to bounce around between like 40 to 60, 40 to 50 if you're playing on docked mode. On handheld mode, it runs a whole lot better, pretty much maintaining 60 FPS no matter what's happening, with occasional dips. And the occasional dips aren't even that bad. It goes down to like 55, sometimes 40. It depends really what's going on in the game and what map is running. I do like and would like to point out that the map that was rendered in this test is probably the most demanding map in the game that I've tried. I don't know if it's just not as optimized as the other ones, but I've noticed when I'm playing like any of the beta maps or the race car map, which was in the beta but it was taken out, but the race car map I feel like is the smoothest map in the game. I don't know if it's because it's smaller, if there's not that much going on in the map, but this map right here that was just ran is the one with the water, and I feel like that has a lot to do with it. Maybe the water adds a whole nother like level of performance task for the game to perform or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a mad scientist. I just know that this map is like the least good at running at a constant 60 frames. It's not bad, it's just not the best in comparison to something like Farm 18 or the Raceway map. I feel like those are the two most consistent maps at running at 60 FPS, regardless of what's happening in the game. Moving on to system information, for anyone that's thinking that I'm streaming this off of my computer, this is all information coming straight from the Steam Deck. This is the Steam Deck display, 60 Hz. We got the 1280 by 800 resolution, and since we are on FSR, it's not going up to 100% here, 67% render resolution, and the rest is pretty much upscaled to look or fit the screen and not look blurry or weird. That's pretty much what upscaling does. That's what FSR does. That's why it's so good. It's running your game at a lower resolution while maintaining a pretty good picture, but not actually being displayed in the display's resolution. And then we got our CPU here, the AMD custom APU, and our VRAM usage is super low here. Honestly, I could have probably ran this higher. I don't know if it's using the exact settings I have on, It might be, not too sure. As far as in-game, I did notice this up here says quality, AMD FSR 1.0 quality. I don't know if the test just runs it favoring quality and then just tries to get an average FPS off of that, but I'm pretty sure I have my AMD FSR 1.0 preset set to performance, to favor performance, or this might just be telling us just a general quality, what quality setting we're using, FSR 1.0, because there's other options like DLSS and Fidelity FX or whatever the other ones are. But we're using AMD FSR 1 because I feel like that one is what makes the game run so well, because it does that low resolution while keeping a pretty good picture. Then we got our total VRAM used is only 2 out of almost 10, and we are running Windows 11. So these are pretty much the most important settings here that pertain to the Steam Deck itself. And this is the result of those settings and the system and what it's capable of, pretty much. This is just based off of that one render test on that map for, I don't even know if it was a minute. It's probably not even a minute, but at the end they dropped a nuke and all that. It's just based off of that one preset test that they have here so that you can benchmark it. Obviously, you can run your own benchmarks in game and have an overlay. I personally do not care about benchmarks too much. I don't find enjoyment in seeing how great a game performs. As long as I can play it, run around, have fun, and not crash every 5 seconds, I am fine. I don't need this game to be 4K, 120 hertz. I'm not expecting anything too crazy out of it. As long as it's playable and for the most part smooth, then I'm happy. And most times I'm going to favor performance to get that extra FPS boost. And in this game, I have no complaints when it comes to how it performs. I'd say by this point, you guys have seen how well it performs, and this just goes to further prove that I am playing on the actual Steam Deck and that it is capable of playing Modern Warfare 2, a AAA game in 2022, brand new, and I'd say it's pretty well optimized, and just having that option for FSR is like a huge thing. I wish every game had that option. I know more games are starting to have it, but there are some titles that don't offer that, and that just makes it harder for the game to run because you're only going to be able to turn all your settings down and go based off of whatever they have there in a preset. Having AMD FSR support, I hope they hear us, is the most important thing, I think, now when it comes to playing big games on the Steam Deck, and by big I mean just more demanding games. I'm assuming as new games come out that will become like a norm. When it comes to older games, well, they're older games, so they might be a little bit easier to run, and then there's just games that are not well optimized at all. A lot of people haven't even gone out of their way to give Windows a shot, and they're just speaking based off of maybe some bad things someone said here or there. But I've been using Windows 11 now for almost 7 months, and I have no complaints. I have no reason to switch to SteamOS currently. Look at this guy. And I'm just going to keep rocking with Windows until, I don't know, until I have a reason to switch. I still don't really have a reason. Nothing is really screaming for me to get SteamOS at the moment. Everything I pretty much want to do, I can do on Windows at the moment, and I'm mainly running Windows so that I can play multiplayer games that require anti-cheat and are not supported on SteamOS, because those are the games I mostly play. If that's not something that interests you or something that suits your needs, then I understand. But I really don't have a reason right now to run both OSs, so I'll just keep running the one I'm making use out of. I'm playing games that require the OS, and that's what people that want to play the same games should do as well, until support comes out for SteamOS, if it ever does, because there's no signs of it coming out anytime soon. I mean, we've had Warzone, Destiny, and other games that have been out for some time now, and there's no word on whether or not they're going to be supported in the near future at all. So I wouldn't get my hopes up too high if you're on SteamOS and want to play Call of Duty, and you're just holding back because you're waiting for a release. I think you're just better off playing on Windows for the time being and seeing what it's like. If worst case scenario, you don't like it, you could always just change back to SteamOS and call it a day. But I'm not even paying attention to this game. I just died like 4 times or something. I don't know. But this was for that benchmark test, and we pretty much got that out of the way. God of War comes out tonight, so I will be playing that. And there might be a Steam Deck video remote playing that game on here. So stay tuned for that. If you're new, subscribe. Thank you everyone again for watching the videos, for sharing your thoughts and opinions, and just showing support overall. I've seen a huge increase in engagement and people interested in Windows 11 and the game, and just it's been really good and really fun to make these videos. So thank you. I really appreciate it. And I think that's it. I will see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.